welcome back. Today I'm preparing the pond for the new season. That means I will clean my first chamber, brush filter chamber, clean that one. I prepared everything for it. This morning I done the pond. I vacuumed the pond, giving a good clean in there. As well, I will give you an update on how I'm going with my pool construction. So I'm getting closer to it. But yeah, let's start with the cleaning of the brush filter. I'll show you how I do it, and it's pretty simple, especially if you have a good setup. I'm not saying that I don't have a good setup, but it would be easier if you had a pond that's a bit above, not in ground, above, where the filter is above ground level, so you just can flush all the dirt out without using pumps. I'll show you how I do it. Yeah, that's the only downfall with my system, but yeah, let's turn you around and I explain to you. Okay, so let's start with, I'm using a small submersible pump in the pond, in one of my shallow ends, and that pump I use to pump water to clean the brushes, because it's best practice to use your pond water that has the same temperature and the same parameters as what's in the brushes. So that way you don't kill off too much of your beneficial bacteria. And the way I do it, I've just copied it like some Japanese breeders do it with their brushes. And if I find a video, I'll link it to you. There's one, you just have to watch it. It's in German, but yeah, I'll show you. So what I built, I just copied it from them. It is this little, hang on, not so easy. I wanted to do it a bit further out. So this little device, it's just PVC pipe that's connected to a hose and the pump. And what I've done, I just have this little end piece and I flatten it with a heat gun so that I get a nice soft water flow. You don't want a too strong flow, so like you don't want high pressure, you just want a nice gentle water flow coming out. So just gently cleaning the brushes so that so you don't blast the beneficial bacteria off. You only want to get rid of the normal maybe coil waste, but as well the already died off bacteria. So just wash them off. You just do that very gentle. So that's what I will use in my brushes. And then my setup, you see this blue hose. I just pump it into my garden. I make sure that the salt level in the pond is already very diluted now. It's not as it was a couple of months ago when I salted it up. So only now I think 0.1% what's in there, so hardly any salt left. So yeah, and then I placed a very strong submersible pump here at the end of the brushes, and that one will, when I turn that on, it will pump this chamber empty. So, but before I do that, I have to turn all the pumps off and switch off all the slide valves and the ball valves. A couple of years ago I did it and I forgot one slide gate, and I was wondering for a really long time, why is this not emptying till the light went on up there in the little grey chamber, and I remembered that there was one more slide gate I had to close. So yeah, So today is only this chamber I'm cleaning. This one here is pretty good. There's not the brushes have just a very slight film. I don't want to disturb this chamber too much because I done it a couple of months ago, as you remember in my previous video where I just gave up my little stuff up. So this one I keep, and I might clean it in the middle of the season. Probably very likely I clean it, but yeah. So almost jumped into it. So yeah, and then this chamber I'll give it a good clean. As well, I will put 3 of the curtains into a lower level so that I have like a step effect. The water goes up and down through the brushes. Okay, so I just pause it for a minute and I put you on the tripod, and hopefully I can show you how I clean the chambers. Okay, be back in a minute. Okay, we're back. The sump pumps are working. A little drama getting the one working. The float switch didn't want to go into that position, but we're running it now, so it's good. The water's going out into the orange fruit tree, and the other pump is working too. And you can see I've got a nice little fountain there. So I've tried to do it. I don't think it's working this way. So what I will do is I try to find a spot for you. Give me a second, please. I think this will be a good spot. There. Okay. Let's do it. Right, so I can adjust this and then see the hose with kinking it. I can adjust the flow. Just go between the brushes and just give them a nice wash. I don't want them too clean. I just want the majority of the core stuff is coming out. Happy having beam in my way. Yeah, I still haven't got around to change this. That's on my list. Okay. Now, clean. One thing I like to do is take this first roll bit out. This is really gunky. This is one thing I like to modify while cleaning this chamber today. Pretty good. Pretty easy system. Then you got set up. The setup is probably it takes the most time. So clean it. Clean. One thing I realized, I should have put it on an elbow on a vent fitting so that I don't kink the hose all the time. That way I have a bit more control. Well, there's maybe a modification I'll do for the next time. But I'm happy, it works all good. We'll give the pond a good water change today. Alright, I'll turn this off so I can drain it all. Okay, we're back. So I've finished the chamber and positioned the brush curtains in different levels. I'll try to come a bit closer and show you. Now, without the sun annoying the hell out of us. Okay. So I don't know if you can see it. So we've got starting with the curtain that's high up. Basically the water level is at the top of the curtain. Then that one goes down. It's below the water level and just touches the ground. So just a little centimeter gap, and then it comes back up and it goes from one curtain to another. Always varies in the levels. So I hope that will give me a bit better flow and less floating fines. That was the last little drama I had. I had more fines in the water than I actually hoped for. So yeah, so far so good. We'll see what happens the next couple of weeks, and then probably during the summer when I clean this chamber, I will do the same thing with these brushes, get them all in different levels. So it's now slowly filling up. As you can see, the level in the pond is quite reduced, so at least probably 20 centimeter down. We still haven't filled up this chamber. I did a purge of the bottom drains. They're all nice and clean now. And yeah, that is basically, that's all for my filter clean. I mean, the next time this will be much quicker. As you can see, you just go in with that little hose I built, the pipe, wash them off, pump the chamber empty, and yeah, wouldn't take more than maybe 15 minutes. And if you have a drain that we just can flush the entire chamber, just opening a valve, that would make it much easier. But I can't do that here, so I have to rely on a sub pump to all pump it out. Good. That's from me cleaning my brush chamber, and I'm going over and give you an update on the pool build. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, I'm back. So yeah, one more thing I wanted to actually mention to everyone who's new to my channel and maybe might not have watched my pond filter build when I designed the brush filter, and the reason why I went for a brush filter. The simple explanation why I'm going for a brush filter and not for a drum filter or a Nexus or a paper filter, it's simple. I need reliability. For my reason for that point is I do fly in, fly out here in Western Australia. So I work in the mines up north, and I work there 1 week at a time. So 1 week at work, and then a week at home. It's a great roster, great lifestyle. So yes, I can't go if I'm that often away from home. I cannot deal with something that might end up with a blockage or a broken gearbox or motor, anything. It's already pretty hard with the pumps. That's why I'm always going for the more high quality pumps these days. Because in the past, yes, these cheap or affordable Chinese pumps, they're good, and for the price you get a good product. However, I had it in the past too many times that they failed on me after a year, after 6 months. I have a pump at the moment running my koi fry spa, where I have my koi fries in. That pump is probably 4 or 5 years old. So and it still runs. Mine has a crack in the housing I fixed with something similar to what is it, MS300 or OBD, and it just has a tiny little leak with one drop in a minute. So I can live with that. Eventually I will change that pump out. But because I'm working that way, that far away, as my previous blog, I was saying I had a little disaster when that little mini pond or waterfall feature overflew because of a blocked spout. I was just lucky that my wife was at home. So if she wouldn't be home, or I'm on my own, it wouldn't work with a drum filter as good as they are. And I'm not sure if I even would go with a drum filter these days, because I don't know. I'm not saying, I mean, for the price of a drum filter, that brush filter I built over there is almost a similar price. I mean, OR's medium or compact drum filter is probably, with all the brushes, the brushes in there were about $1,800. So yes, you can go away and get brushes for maybe $500, but they're cheap, and they're not good. It's the same with the drum filter. If you buy $500 drum filter, there will be a reason why it's $500 and not $3,000. So yes, I could have, for the price I built that filter with, I could have easily afforded a drum filter. And I had those thoughts in my head, and I had thoughts about a bead filter and all these, but it always came back to the same point that I'm away, and even if I go on holiday, who do I explain to how to fix the drum filter, or how to clean a bead filter? It always came back to that same problem, that it doesn't work in my situation. If I'm retired, or I work from home, easy, not a problem. But there's another reason for the brush filter, and it is the simplicity. I like the simplicity. You just have brushes in these chambers, and the water goes through, all the debris, all the waste gets caught in the brushes, and it gets digested by the microorganism in there, and then you go to, in my case, a moving bed and then a static filter, and out at the other end comes clean water, and there's no moving part except for the pumps. I like that simplicity. And if I build another pond, and I will build another pond down the track, there are plans in my head already. It will always be a not a drum filter. It will be a brush filter. And there are a few advantages there. I have less maintenance with my brush filter than you guys with the drum filter or your Nexus. And this is because of the size of my brush filter, and this all depends on your size. That is the first time I cleaned the brush filter, and that is now about 6 months ago. I heard and I'm seeing people having brush filters, big units similar to mine, some even bigger, but they have bigger ponds, and they only clean once a year. And I know there will be a lot of people out there and say, throw their hands in the air and say that you can't do that. All the waste is still in the water. No. Yes and no. Saying this way, the waste that goes caught in the brush filter, it gets digested by a lot of microorganisms, and they make the water basically a living organism on its own, with a lot of good beneficial organism and bacteria. I don't have any, I haven't had yet an infection in my pond. I'm not saying there are no parasites in there. There are for sure parasites in my system, like there will be in every system. But I believe that because of the biological diversity in my filter and in the entire whole system, I don't have my fish don't catch it or don't develop symptoms, because the immune system is different, have a different setup. And this doesn't come from me. This is what I learned over the last couple of years when I investigated what is the best filter system and which filter system has its advantages and disadvantages. So I'm not making a drum filter bad. Drum filter is a great piece of equipment. But I see my system more in a holistic setting, where everything has a role to play. The waste goes into the brushes, and then there is the first stage of the biological decomposing process starts in the brushes. The first chamber, you could say, just catches all the waste. Microorganisms live off that waste and produce other beneficial byproducts. Then it goes into the second chamber. The second chamber is another huge biological system, and from there it goes into the moving bag. So I'm going now for the first year, or into the first season with this filter setup I have, and it will be interesting to see how it copes with the amount of food I will put in the summer, because I will double or triple the amount of food I put in last year. And this system only came in online. The new filter system came only online end of last summer. So this is the year it will prove itself. But what I seen online and on YouTube, there should be no issue with it. And when do I clean it? Once every 6 months? Perfect. So yeah. No, the one thing I would change on my system, not now, because I think I play with that thought, but I'm not so sure. I wouldn't have a moving bed again. I'm not. I thought it's a great thing, and it is probably in certain applications okay. But if I would build this system again, that moving bed will completely be deleted and be replaced by a static filter with helix or some similar media, where basically the water goes into it, goes through it, and then on the other end back into the pond. That's the one thing I would change. I wouldn't have a moving bed again, because it's one thing. Everything that still goes through the brushes ends up in the moving bed, and then it gets it literally gets milled down into micro particles, and they clot then the water up. That's why I have, after my moving bed, I have a static filter now, just to catch more of these finer particles. Okay, this is all just for you guys who are new to my channel and they don't know the reason why I have this big brush filter. And yes, and to everyone who thinks I'm that all that waste is bad I have in my system, I've seen so many experts out there in the field. They believe it's actually a very beneficial setup, having that waste and being digested by all these little organisms that are in there, the heterotrophs, autotrophs, bacteria. Well, we'll see in the future. So far, I haven't had an issue, and I always had some kind of a brush filter or similar setup. In one more thing, when I cleaned it today, and I mentioned it in a video before when I did the other chamber a few months ago when I modified it, the waste doesn't stink. I know how coal waste smells. In the past, when I had bad working filters, I know how putrid that waste smells. This did not smell a bit. It doesn't have any smell whatsoever. So, and I believe if it doesn't smell, it must be okay for the system. It must be okay and good. Good. Well, that was me for about the brush filter. Anyone who wants to know a bit more, just put a comment in. I will answer it. Otherwise, yeah, I'm just turning you around and show you the progress on the swimming pool. Just a little quick update. Okay, here we are at the pool. It's not finished, as you can see, but it's very close to finish. Tomorrow I will start the fiberglassing. So everything is rendered. I got the corners nicely done. Let me just go other way around. I got the steps in there, they're rendered. That actually is my job. It might not be 100% professional, but it looks pretty good for someone who has never been doing a proper render job. And this is just from what my really good friend Neil taught me when he was rendering the walls. So yeah, this pool, tomorrow I will get up early and fiberglass it. I will do a bit of a recording about the fiberglassing. However, I will not explain how I fiberglass or what I do, what's the percentage and all this. And the simple reason for that is I'm not a professional. I'm just a DIY guy. I've done a bit fiberglassing on my filter, on my ponds, all this, the little things. But as I said, I'm not a professional, and I don't want to give bad advice and then someone copies it and has a complete stuff up. So yeah, so I just will show you how I bit fiberglass, how I probably put the fiberglass in my face or somewhere glue something on me, like I did it before. I glued my t-shirt basically to my body with the resin. Yeah, that was not fun. It was pretty painful, but it worked out, and yeah, that's for me. Okay, that was for me. That is the pool update. Yeah, I will make a tiny little short video when I do tomorrow the fiberglassing and the top coating the following day. Yeah, otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's maybe a bit longer than I anticipated, and sorry for everyone who knows me already and knows about my brush filter system, because I know that not many people out have this kind of a setup and do it this way. Most people have drum filters, nexuses, or the multi-bay filters, bead filters. I went a complete different way to most people. Yeah, I really enjoy the brush filter, and yeah, I apologize if some of you got bored for the last, I think it was 10 minutes, me going on about my system. But I just wanted to explain to everyone who's new or hasn't watched it before and didn't hear what doesn't know my reason behind the brush filter. Just a little recap for that. Okay, enough of this waffling around. I hope you enjoyed how I did my brush filter clean and what's involved. Yeah, if you liked, please give me a thumb up, and yeah, if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. Thank you very much, and see you with the next update. Bye.